we will start our program with the second speaker. Alistair, can you close the door back there? Someone close the door. I can hear the noise. Thank you. Okay. Our second speaker today is Roger Whitney, CFP and co-founder of the Fort Worth-based WWK Wealth Advisors. Roger flew from Texas yesterday to join us today. Roger is the author and creator of the Agile Retirement Process and author of the book Rock Retirement, which is rated 5 stars on Amazon. 87% 5-star rating. Thank you, Roger, for bringing books today and giving them to all of our members. This is Roger. Today, Roger will be speaking on how to rock your retirement in the 21st century. Roger believes to really live retirement, you need an agile retirement process that responds quickly to life's changes. And so you have the tools to make smart decisions along the way. Roger's talk today will examine 3 critical ways traditional retirement planning can limit your golden years. Why it's important to embrace uncertainty while learning to manage change, and 1 error that he believes almost everybody makes in building an asset allocation policy. A little bit about Roger. In addition to his work as a CFP at WWK Wealth Advisors, Roger is also host of the award-winning podcast, The Retirement Answer Man, one of my favorite podcasts, by the way. He has been a financial planner for over 27 years, and each day helps individuals and families plan for their retirement, transition into retirement, or if you're already retired, to help you live out your retirement. Roger has taught retirement planning for the CFP program at University of Texas, wealth management at Texas Christian University, and he has also led numerous workshops with the Texas Society of CPAs. Now here's a fascinating factoid about Roger. He and a friend, who was also a client, have made the goal of visiting the least visited safe countries in the world. Roger has just returned from Mongolia, where he stayed with nomads. Hence, I think, photograph. Is that a nomad picture? Is that Mongolia? Was that you? That's you in Mongolia, okay. So he stayed with nomads, rode camels, right there, baby, drank milk vodka, and hung out with locals. This begs the question, Roger, where in the world are you going to next? Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Roger Whitney. Do you know where you're going next?
We don't. I was throwing out Patagonia the other day. It's really cold there. All right, this is going to be very different. You were zoomed in last presentation. We are zooming really high. We're talking about investment management. Now we're talking about life management. Did you realize that baby boomers especially, you're the first iteration that you are actually guinea pigs? Because nobody has any clue how to successfully retire. Nobody knows what to do. In the finance industry, we're all just figuring it out just like you. Because all the models are broken for a lot of reasons that we're going to talk about today. And I got a presentation to go through. I'm happy if you have questions. I'm all in on discussion, so there is some thought in the slides, but if you have to deviate, I'm cool with that. So let me make sure this is working here. Yeah, what's working? Could you push that in right there, that sidebar, please? Pull out. There we go.
You got it?
Awesome. Okay, retirement crisis. We got a huge retirement crisis. Google it. Millions of hits on the coming retirement crisis. It takes different levels though. If you are already retired, and first off, let me just say this. We're going to do a baseline here. We're talking, we know about the retirement crisis with people that aren't saving, or there's no way that they're going to be able to save. That's a whole different level. That's a serious issue. I'm guessing most of you are not in that camp. So we're going to table that for today. I want to talk about retirement crisis that is more applicable to you in this group, okay? So if you're already retired and you're a baby boomer, and you feel pretty confident you have enough money, the crisis really is all of this uncertainty has created a mental model that may be limiting the only life you have. That's a crisis. That's an elegant crisis. I deal with that a lot with clients of they're so worried about the future and what possibly could unfold that they literally are going to die before you. And that's horrible, in my opinion. And then there's the retirement crisis of if you're younger in retirement, you want to live, but you're so worried about living 100 that you sacrifice the only life you have. And then there's pre-retirement of, man, I probably should just keep working because all of this is so hard to figure out. There's lots of levels of what a retirement crisis is. And what I want to do today is talk about what the best practice in our industry is for solving this crisis. Tell you why it sucks. And then I want to tell you what I think is a more elegant approach. And I'm happy to be challenged. So, you really have to be careful with what mental models you use in lots of things, because your life is going to be limited by those models. And and this is a stoic idea, that most of us want answers, and we want to be told what we should do, when what we really need to be told is, or trained in, is how do we think in a better model to come up with better solutions. It's more about problem solving than what should we do. And in our industry, the mental model when we're dealing with retirement is about this. What is my number? How much do I need at 60 to be fine? How much do I need to be able to save? Do I have enough? This has come out of a couple things. One is our industry, the finance industry, we're finance people, we love numbers, they're elegant, they're beautiful. And so we want to do well, so we created treating your life like it is a finance problem, like it's coming up with the number. If I just had X, I feel good. Right? And so, I hate going to parties and talking about being someone that focuses only on retirement. Well, how much do I need? What's the number? Some version of that question. That's the mental model that our industry has codified as the best practice to giving you advice. Basically, it's present value and annuity calculation. That's basically what it is. And we'll get into this. It's a one-dimensional solution to your life. This is the mental model of which I'm being mad here, not all, you can qualify for this, which all financial advice leads from, and when we're looking at our life, we're calculating. So, it's going to lead to one-dimensional solutions. I'm going to show you an example of that. And your life is not one-dimensional. Trust me, I have clients where on paper they look exactly alike, but because of what they value as a family and what their emotional makeup is with risk and other things, the solutions are extremely different. We're very multidimensional, but we don't have any solutions to that. So Fred talked about a background, I'm not going to go into that. But what I'm talking about, I taught to future CFP certificate. I taught the retirement planning section for a number of years. And it teaches this model of just basically figuring out what your number is. So this is the best practice in the industry. And so I taught it and I used it for a number of years. So over the last 5 or 6 years, which has sort of been my renaissance, because as a business owner, you finally get to critical mass and then you get to deal with more elegant For the last 4.5 years on my weekly podcast, I noodled on the number part of it, but what do people actually really care about? And what's been interesting about that is over those 4.5 years, there's been well over 1 million downloads. I get to interact with thousands of people that send me emails and answer my surveys and ask their questions and tell me what they're thinking about in their own words, which has been an amazing lab. And a lot of it came out into the book, which is going to be the most unscientific finance book you may have ever read. That's on purpose. And so this is all I focus on. So literally, I only think about the issues of going into transitioning and living out retirement with the mindset of it's about optimizing life, it's not about optimizing money. It can be frustrating to engineer types. We may have some in here. Okay, first off, this actually is the most important thing. And on my shelf is the all-important disclaimer, which is, please don't take any advice from me. Okay? Seriously, we hear things and we just equate, okay, yeah, that's right, I'm going to go do that. No, I don't know anything about any of you. You don't really know that much about me. So the only people I work for, and I'm a fiduciary, and I have to know a lot about them to even really be able to speak into their life. So talk to your legal advisor, talk to your financial advisor, talk to your tax advisor, talk to your spouse, talk to anybody, but don't take advice from me today. All right? Okay, how do you define the issue? Define your choices. So let's walk through the best practice of the industry with a couple to see how that mental model, what solutions it might lead them to. And I have no clue how long this is going to go, Fred, but I'm guessing that you pull me if we start getting close, all right? So we have Tom and Sally. Okay, and Tom and Sally, they're sitting on their couch, they're empty nesters now, and they're wondering, you've been working for decades. Let's start thinking about the future. Side note, I'm 51, my wife is a little older. And we're empty nesters now, and we're starting to rethink, right? That's a different phase of life where you start to reimagine what your life is going to be. That's where a lot of divorces happen, by the way, because people are rethinking. Just like when you retire, that's another big point where people start to reimagine their lives, right? Yeah, that's where a lot of divorces happen. People are rethinking about their lives. So Tom and Betty are sitting on the couch, or Tom and Sally, sitting on the couch. They're $150,000 a year. They've been able to accumulate $1 million over their working career, and they're saving about $4,000 a month. It's not bad. We'll just call them moderate, and they want to retire at 62, which is about the average that I hear. I hear anywhere from 60 to I never am going to retire. We'll talk a little bit about that. But they want to retire at 62. They've been working decades, they've raised a family. That seems like some time to be able to slow down, right? And that might be the biggest one, they want to maintain their current lifestyle, right? We're all very good at dealing with lifestyle changes as long as they go up, right? We're not so comfortable about dealing with lifestyle changes if they have to go down. So most, and again, I'm talking to a fairly elevated level of people that have these elevated problems, we want to maintain our life. So Tom and Sally, let's say they're either sitting on the couch with an iPad or they're meeting with a financial planner. What they're probably going to do if they're on the couch is they're going to Google financial calculator, retirement calculator, thousands of them, and they're all based off of that net present value type of calculation. So I'm going to use one from I think it's the largest investment management firm in the country. I'm not going to say who it is. But we're just going to use a calculator, but the point is they're all the same. Different assumptions maybe, but they're all the same. So Tom and Sally, they get to the calculator, and they have all these cool little dials they get to use. So they're going to enter their age. We need that because this is a math problem. We're going to enter their age. We know they have $150,000 in income that they have right now. They save $1 million, and they're saving $48,000 a year. Okay, so they put in the basic data. They want to live on, they don't know, but they want to maintain their lifestyle, and it says, rule of thumb, you'll need 85% of your pre-retirement income to maintain your current lifestyle. That's the rule of thumb. So they're like, okay, we're going with that, which equates to $127,500. Sorry? Okay. I'm listening. So that's what they want to live off of, and that's after tax money. And then we're just going to assume that they're a modern investor, right? Because we're all modern. We don't want to be too aggressive. We want to be safe there. Well, by just putting that little data in, this is the number that they're going to need at age 62. 3.421 million. They're going to make it. No. I sort of set it up there. But no, they're not. Now, this is a simple calculator. That was like bam, bam, bam. And here's the secret. When you're working with a financial planner, you're pretty much going through the same process. It gets a little bit more customized. I'm not poo-pooing it too much. But this is the model. It may be much more expanded, but this is the engine of the calculation that's happening just the same. And that's, I think, important to understand. Because whether you're constant, yes, sir.
Sorry, one quick question. Those 3 million and 3.5 million, is that a present value at retirement age to cover the 127,000?
Yes, that's the net present value they're going to need at their retirement age.
Thank you.
Which is what that number is, right? That's what, yes. So you're correct. And I included Social Security as part of providing for this. So that's the net present value at retirement. And then, like most of these type of calculators, and this is where using a financial planner is probably a little bit different than what you get online, is the assumption underneath in the calculator is that you're basically buying an annuity to pay out to achieve that, which is drastically going to overestimate it because of those kind of rates. So, yeah, that's when there is a big nuance when you're working with more calculation than just what you're going to get online. So, let's look at it. They're going to need 3.4. They didn't calculate, but there's a huge gap. They ain't going to make it with this. So Tom and Sally are sitting there, depressed, depressed. But they have some toggles over here of things they can do to make a difference. Now, I'm going to take it aside here. Prior to the 80s, well, I'll say prior to the 70s, the only people that really invested were wealthy people, right? And the reason wealthy people invest, or institutions, but the reason wealthy people invested was not to create wealth, right? We think about investing as how you create wealth, right? It can happen over a very, very long period of time. But the reason wealthy people invested for decades was to preserve wealth that they created through their own means. That could have been work and savings, it could have been businesses, it could have been through real estate, it could have been through inheritance, but they invested in order to preserve and grow above inflation. That all got turned on its head in the 80s. Well, started in 76 with ERISA, with the decline of pensions and the rise of 401ks. And all of a sudden, the burden of providing for the future came off of the companies, and off of the state, and onto you, which saw the rise of 401ks. And that was the renaissance of the creation of the financial planning industry. And it was mainly insurance people and investment people that started to populate that industry. So these are people that all got into the business because they love numbers. They knew insurance and they knew investing, and then they started to pivot to become financial planners. They're the ones that created the curriculum for the whole process. Now that's not a negative, that's just understand this. And as a result, investing morphed. Especially, I started in 1990, it was awesome. Except I didn't know what I was doing. Investing became about creating wealth. So the sell was from the planning community and investing, and it worked, was just keep throwing dollars at your investments. Sacrifice that, keep throwing money at it, and it's going to grow and compound over time, and then you're going to have millions of dollars later on. Remember those charts we showed? So it got easy for people to get lazy on what they can do to control their life. They were just told, no, you just keep your 401k and your IRAs and you're going to get it. And so in order to make investing about creating wealth, that meant you had to take a heck of a lot more risk than people would take, right? Because you got to embrace risk to get the returns, and in a lot of ways, that turns out well. But I guess my point is, I think it's interesting, but my point is, everything in financial planning, for the most part, when it comes to retirement, comes down to a saving and investing in a dollar model, rather than a life, right? And that's important to me because you only live as well as the mental models you use. So we look at Tom and Sally. We know they're not going to hit it. They've got these nice toggles over here. And these are really the recommendations that come from a calculator or an advisor in order to fix the problem, to fill the gap. So let's play with some of these. Let's say, well, option one is, well, you need to start saving more money if you want to get that 62 inch. So how much money would we need to save? Well, let's do the calculations. Let me go get it all figured out. You're going to need to save $11,000 more a month. Right? And that will fill the gap, assuming we get average markets. Well, they only make 150. That's more than they make a year. Right? That ain't going to work. All right. Well, let's try, what about retirement age? Right? That could help. If we retire at 67, which is not a bad age, a 67-year-old is young. And factoid, a 60-year-old today has a 50-50 chance of living over 100. And that's not accounting for social, economic, racial, and all those other things. That's a long time. That's scary. It's exciting, but scary. So 67 is not bad. But when you're 55 and you've been either on a plane half your life, in corporate meetings, doing all the hustle, it's like, man, I gotta wait that long to cool out a little bit. We'll talk about a solution, a more elegant solution to that. So if we get to 67, work 5 more years, that's going to solve the problem in the numbers. Or they could live on 60% of what their lifestyle was rather than 85%, which would be about 90 grand a year. Right? 90 grand a year is a lot of money. As an aside, I am very amazed, and I think this part of it, what you need to be happy, this is a whole other philosophical discussion. I have clients that spend 20 grand a month, and they're stressed, they're tight. I have clients literally that spend 30, 40 grand a year and they're as happy as I've ever seen anyone, and it's all in between. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but what your lifestyle demands and where you find happiness is a big determinant. I struggle this with myself because I'm a tech gadget. I'll drop $1,000 on a tech gadget thinking I'll make some return on investment because it's for my business. And I have to control that, and I have to retrain myself that new tech stuff does not make me happy. You know, this is part of what we're dealing with in society materially. But Tom and Sally don't want to, they work and sacrifice to build a family. They're looking at retirement as a time they really want to maybe do more. They want to travel, they want to do things. So that doesn't really appeal to them near as much. So what ends up happening more often than not is there's always some combination, right? Well, what if we save $2,000 more a month? We work 2 more years and we live down 75% of what we think we need rather than 85. And then, you know, I didn't play with it here, but what if we dial up the risk a little bit and get, you know, potential returns, and that will fill the gap. So usually it's a combination of these things. Does that make sense? It's never going to be one typically. So Let me rephrase it. Do you concur that these are a lot of the choice sets that we get offered when we're planning either with ourselves or with the planners? Okay? And they all seem to make total sense because there's no free lunch. Look, let me rephrase these. Okay, let me use these in phrases I agree with. Significant, if you save significantly more now, every dollar you save today, there's an opportunity cost to that, right? What is that opportunity cost? Your life, right? I know plenty of people that are, figuratively living on rice and beans are working harder, doing the overtime, taking the extra projects in order to fill the gap. So any dollar you save today, the opportunity cost is it's less opportunity to give to charity, to go on vacation with the kids, to buy something if that's what it is. There's a whole choice set there. But any dollar you save today, there is an opportunity cost, and the cost is your life. But you still got to be a steward. This is all about stewardship ultimately. But what I see is a lot of people, because of the mental model that we're dealing with when we're thinking about life and retirement, is we're sacrificing the only life we have for some hope of freedom and excitement later on, right? And that's great if you know you're going to live. And, for me, and this is probably why I think this way, even though from a technical aspect, I'm into all the numbers that Justin talked about, is my mom lived like that. She was a single mother, and she sacrificed a ton of her life. We used to have active discussions about this, and she died at 48. Right? It doesn't have to be a dramatic event, but it could be, okay, finally I get to 67, but I'm not healthy anymore because I ate like crap because I was traveling all the time, and my knees don't work, so I can't go do things I want to do. There's a cost to that. Work longer, well, that just means sacrifice time freedom for longer. Settle for less later on, that sounds nice. Or some combination of all of those. Doesn't mean that all these might not be an important lever to pull. They all sort of sound sucky when you just say it those ways, right? Because ultimately, if you think of life, life is, when we're making financial decisions, all sorts of decisions. It's like a teeter-totter. Remember teeter-totters? We're all old enough to remember. I think they're outlawed now. The teeter-totter, it goes like this, right? Well, figuratively, we're standing in the middle. If you're a kid, you remember balancing where it's sort of going like this? That's how I think about a lot of decisions we make, especially with money, because we all want to live a great life today. We really do. But we also want to be good stewards and make sure that we're okay later on. And all the decisions we make like these, you're trying to find some balance. There are some people that are YOLO, I don't care about tomorrow, I'm living today. And they're just like this. I don't deal with a lot of them. I deal with a lot of people like this. Is they don't know what to do with their money. They're naturally good stewards. And they don't know, they're ultimately going to die with a lot of money because they just don't know how to find a balance because either they're hardwired that way or they're so worried about all the uncertainty that faces us. They offer you only bad choices. And they get memorialized in financial plans that look like that. I've given those out in my history, and I'm sorry. And they're filled with pages and charts and disclaimers and qualifiers and lots of crazy financial terms that look extremely sophisticated but really don't tell you anything because as soon as it's printed, it's all out of date. And they end up collecting dust, and we don't actually execute on anything in any meaningful way. Other than saying, and this is a mental model, I've checked the box, I'm a good steward, I got a financial plan. Right? People get comfortable with that. Okay, I've done it. Doesn't mean anything to take. So, are Tom and Sally excited about retirement? Yeah. Well, I guess it's frame the story of that. No, they're not. And I think because of this mental model, this best practice process, why a lot of us aren't excited about this. We don't want to engage in it because it just leads to choices that sort of suck, and it all is memorialized. That big book we know is going to change a million times, so it doesn't really mean anything for us. And us financial people cost a lot of money. So we can't get trapped in this outdated thinking. So, why is it this way? Well, one is, this works for your parents' retirement. This works for them. And it may work for many of you because they had pensions. They lived very local lives. I think of my grandfather. When we talked about the book, I mean, his retirement with my grandma and grandpa, they moved to Florida. They read books. They went to the Blue Lake Special. They lived very local lives. They didn't do a lot. And they had simpler lives in that they wanted experiences, but they were very localized experiences, like working on cars. It was just an easier life. And they viewed, this is the big one, they viewed retirement as the chance to sit on the park bench of life. Right? Because they were worn out from all they did. And they looked at retirement, I think of my grandparents and my parents to an extent, they just wanted to rest. You are not your parents. Well, at least in this way. You are not your parents. When I talk to thousands of people from the podcast and meeting, what I'm hearing is retirement isn't the chance to rest, it's really the chance to finally live on your own terms. That's way different. You likely, unlike your parents, you likely don't have a pension, you have less of a pension. Now, you guys are, some of you are sort of in the bubble of that. Some of you still have very robust pensions, but, the younger you go, the less there is. And this is a big difference, what money did your grandparents manage for the most part? I'm talking normal. They didn't, right? And what they did was in CDs or the local bank, they weren't invested in the markets. Here, when you retire, all of a sudden you don't have an income and you're responsible for managing millions of dollars. That feels comfortable. You're experience focused. This is what I get a lot from everyone I talk to. They want to do this. They're not local. When we went to Mongolia, Rajiv and I, we connected with a local person. I got 3 friends in Mongolia. I'm Facebook friends with them, but I don't know what the heck they're saying because it's all Mongol. so we have to go to chat to figure that out. But I have friends literally all over the world. I got a buddy in Israel I talk to once a week. We are not local beings. We are worldwide beings, which means we love travel and go see our friends and do things. We're experience beings. And we're going to live longer. I talked about this. We're going to live longer than any generation in history. If you're a baby boomer right now, you're going to live longer than any generation in history. And also in retirement. And that's just, you take a 20-year-old today. Did I mention that? I told you the 60-year-old number. I was talking with a friend about this, because we have kids that are right around 20. A 20-year-old today, think of this, has a 50-50 chance of living over 100. That actually makes me feel good, because, I have a 20 and 22-year-old. I feel better about them not being in a rush to go finish college, get a corporate job, go through the whole cycle I went through, because what's the rush for? They're going to live to 100, but you're going to live longer. And we view retirement not as a chance to sit on a park bench, but to be in the playground, which changes the numbers. So your parents' retirement was one-dimensional. Your retirement is multi-dimensional. But we're using a one-dimensional model to figure out some pretty serious life choices that you can't redo. So we experienced this today because there was a computer problem with the Windows machine. Remember, most of us, remember software, when we buy a new software package, like say Windows Office, I'm not Windows, that doesn't affect us for them. Remember when we buy a new software program, we get how many discs would we get? Right? 11 discs, and you'd sit there, you'd open a bottle of wine, watch TV, and you'd be loading the discs. And then, oh my goodness, I really want to go to bed, but isn't going to go to sleep, and then I have to restart this in the morning. Do you remember that process? So from a project, that's how all software was developed. That's how a lot of things have been developed, not just software, for ages. And it's called, what is this, waterfall? Waterfall project management, which is you basically try to figure it all out, and you just put it all into a project, and then you ship it, hoping you have it. That's why we got like the little dancing paperclip and things like that. It's so much bloat in projects because you could really only ship it once. That's how I think about retirement planning, right? They gather, I've seen 200 plus data gathering documents, meeting after meeting to develop a plan that gets memorialized in a document. And then we'll talk to you next year. That's how I think that's how the process works. It's like waterfall. It's not designed to manage change. How often did those types of programs get updated? You couldn't. Well, when there was no interweb to just download and update, so to update, but it was built on a structure that meant to update it, you basically had to sort of redo the entire thing, reship a ton of disks, and go through configuration issues. So they didn't update it that much, like a retirement plan. Well, I'm going to submit, and we had a great speaker, Justin, that went down to the weeds on asset management. In my opinion, on asset management thought, when I'm implementing portfolios, I am either super inexpensive, get in the middle of the markets, or something that is very open architecture to give them the realm to be able to do what they're supposed to do. Anything in between is sort of a waste of money. But when it comes, we think of retirement, how much of our mind is spent on investment management? A lot. What are the markets doing? What are interest rates doing? What's the best investment for income? All these things, I submit to you, that's probably one of the smallest levers you have to impact your life. The biggest lever you have, in my opinion, is to train your mind to how to identify risks and opportunities and changes in plans and react in an iterative fashion. It's about change management. Because you can't figure any of that out. Let me go to, where is this on? Is it? Oh, okay. So think about your iPhone or whatever you want to use. How often do those update? Exactly. I was trying to get a picture of my wife's iPhone because it's well over 100 updates on the app she never did. It drives me nuts because I'm like an inbox zero guy. I did everything. But anyway, so why all the updates? They're not using waterfall methodology to develop apps. What are they using? Somebody knows here. Agile project management. And we're going to go through some of the principles of Agile and how you might apply those to your planning process. So let's talk about a couple. These are, people that are Agile zealots, and you may cringe a little bit, but I'm taking what I've done is taken the structure of Agile project management and figured out how do we apply that to someone's life to be more agile and manage change so we can make maybe better decisions that might help us lead a better life. Well, number one is the future is fundamentally unknowable. Would everybody agree with that? And that's whether, we think about that with the markets. I've always found it interesting with investment management firms, which I've worked for, the largest private bank in the world for a number of years, is if you think about most investment firms, the fundamental value proposition is, we are really smart. We have great models, and we can tell you what's undervalued or overvalued and position you to be able to perform. All of those are fundamentally unknowable. Now, I'm not saying that there's not opportunity there, but to base your value proposition on something that's fundamentally unknowable seems silly to me, and which is what most investment management firms do. Now, I'm not just picking on investment management firms. We think we have a lot more certainty over our lives than we really do, right? I'm 51, and my 40-year-old self would not even imagine the version of who I am today, right? My family situation is, thankfully, my family situation is the same. I'm married, my kids are healthy, and everything else. But I've dealt with clients who spouse gets hit by a car, horrible diseases. I've had good things happen too. All of them unknowable and not being able to predict it. Think about what you're facing in trying to manage change in retirement. You're trying to figure out inflation, what's it going to be for me? Big expenses would come up. I spent $5,000 on my son's car. Things not even worth $5,000. Well, it's a little bit more, but I had to do the calculation. Came out of the blue. Deflation. We were talking about inflation. Now we're talking about, well, hyperinflation. Is that going to come because of the Fed? Taxes, fair markets, long-term care. There's a big one that we can't really handicap very well. Longevity. There's a big one we can't handicap very well. Investment returns, stock market crashes, unexpected expenses. None of this is knowable. Would you accept that? It's just not knowable. So why would we spend a lot of time in meetings trying to figure them all out and create action on them? Obviously, hopefully, you have to have some answer. A multidimensional model is not really addressing any of these other than some very broad assumptions. Second is collaboration gets results. The traditional model is, anywhere my tie, this is like my big boy outfit, is you come to the office, you give me all your data, I take it, and my team, we crunch it, we put together a plan for you, we come back, you sit in my office for 4 hours watching a PowerPoint on the screen, going through all the analysis of what the cash flow is going to look like for the next 30 years in your life. That's not collaboration. You're expecting me to have the answers. You know your life better than anybody. I may be, or someone like me may be a good guide from the financial aspect. Some of that having to do with the adeptness of dealing with numbers. Most of it, in my opinion, really comes from having walked the journey so many times with so many people and the wisdom that comes out of that. So why would we not have a collaborative process where you know the most about your life and what your fears and your wants and your wishes are, and you know when those things are going to change, and I, or someone, is an experienced guide to help you frame them, think differently so we can think creatively together. It should be a collaborative process that's really lean, not the kind of process we see. That's two. Second principle. Third is flexibility. If there's anything you need to have, if we're going to try to manage change, it's flexibility. So the way I think about it is, if we can't predict the future, what do? If we can't predict the future or even get close to predicting the future, then the issue, you basically have to manage uncertainty. So the issue becomes, if I can't eliminate uncertainty, what I have to do is build a framework to manage through the uncertainty, to identify risks and opportunities so I can figure out where I can take little actions, like agile, to take little baby steps as life unfolds. So it's going to require a lot of flexibility. And then there's so many things you got to deal with, from estate planning, long-term care. You know, I have a standard of care that I've developed and curated of all the things that we need to have discussions over to be a good steward. We'll talk about a few of them. But you can't do them all, and you don't want to do them all. We really need to identify what are the opportunities to have the most impact on our life so we can act on it. So you always have to continue prioritizing what you're dealing with, otherwise it's overwhelming. And it's no fun. We like to win, we like to have wins, and prioritization does that. And then you have to have lots of communications. I always use the story of my wife. So I've been married 28 years, 2 months now. And my secret to a good marriage, that I would say I've totally figured out, is I never want to have a big conversation with my wife. If I can avoid big conversations, that means we're probably walking hand in hand, right? And I unfortunately have dealt in my immediate family, not my central family, but we all have, right? Either people we know, people we love, that have gone through divorces. And I, as an advisor, I work with clients where it happens. And ultimately, my observation is usually they have no understanding as to why it's happening. You know, because even if it's a big event, usually the event is actually caused by something. You know, it could easily have been the toilet seat left up for 20 years, and then finally, it's, you know, the switch flipped. But it's not expressed as that was the reason, is that resentment can build up over time, and then it just manifests itself. So the more you can have little conversations that may be a little bit uncomfortable, the more you can avoid big conversations. I think that's the same thing with any kind of planning you're doing from a financial perspective. The secret is to have lots of little conversations so you can slowly make sure you're walking hand in hand. My wife and I had that. We've had conversations where we're going like this, and she's going that way. Wait a second, we gotta get back, you know, get back in sync together. What the urge is. Same thing when you're managing finances. All right, so what are you talking about? These are your big rocks. And this is where I've worked on building the standard of care. Okay, what conversations should you be having? Obviously, life. And so life has, what do we want? And I think in terms of what are the basic needs that we want? What is the wants that the spice that we want in our life to make it, you know, more than just the basic needs? And then what are those aspirational things? Those things over time change internally in a family much more than you think they do. So you want to have conversations